Hello everyone. Welcome to this lecture on gatekeeping and community voices. This lecture is part of your paper on community media and society. This module will bring help for you to critically examine how gatekeeping affects our day-to-day world. You will also learn about the emergence and significance of gatekeeping theory in the contemporary Indian society. Introduction. This module actually explores how gatekeeping proves to be disadvantageous in many cases and advantageous in some. The module further reviews the meanings of gates, gatekeeping theory, and various other concepts of gatekeeping. Gatekeeping means how information passes through gates, which involves gatekeepers who allow the message to pass through that channel. For example, news channels select only portion of the story they wish to share with the public. So, the news channel or a journalist will be a gatekeeper. The gatekeeping theory. The gatekeeping theory has become the most essential theory in communications today. The term gatekeeping was coined by German social psychologist Kurt Lewin. He described gatekeeping as blocking unwanted things by using gate, and how and when those gates to open or close and allow what information to pass through the channel. He also specifically used it related to food. For example, mother or wife decided what food will be prepared at home. Hence, they are the gatekeepers. Originally, this theory was widely used in the field of psychology. However, it has become an essential theory in communications today. Gatekeeping remains in the entire process for gathering the facts till it is published. The reporters and editors tend to work around a specific fact they wish to present to the public. The concept of gatekeeping can be broken down into gatekeeping model. Information moves step by step through the channels and must pass through a gate to move to the next channel. Several forces govern those channels. There may be opposing psychological forces causing conflict, which creates resistance to movement through the channel. David Manning White of University of Iowa found that selection decisions in newspaper were extremely influential and thought out. His study further created the levels of gatekeeping in media to understand why things are covered the way they are. He points out that first level is individuals. When one person or group of people make personal choices of what information is shared. Second level, routine practices. When journalist works with preconceived or pre-established set of rules which journalists follow. Thirdly, social institutions on how an event is meant to be covered. And finally, societies, and here culture plays an important role on how an event is covered. Now, different societies have different levels of censorship. This again takes us to selection of information journalists share with the public. For example, during the 9/11 coverage, each news outlet had its own level of gatekeeping and chose what kind of images or facts they want to be revealed and discussed. The concept of gatekeeper. The gatekeeper is having its own influence like social, cultural, ethical, and political. Based on personal or social influences, they led the information to the group. Through this process, the unwanted, sensitive, and controversial informations are removed by the gatekeeper, which helps to control the society or group and letting them in the right path. In news medium, editor play a vital role. He has to decide what kind of news items will publish and what should not. Every day, the news channel receives various news items from all over the world. The channel have its own ethics and policies. Through this, the editor decides the news items to be published or aired. In some cases, few news items are rejected by the editor due to organization's policy, or the news items which are not suitable for publishing. Influences of the gatekeeping process. Individual. The journalist alone selects how the information gets sorted. No other external help on this matter. Routine. Commonly seen in the more prominent news media. This is commonly seen tied with agenda setting due to a recurrent theme being portrayed in all news. Organizational. Similar to routine, but the process is molded according to the organization's views and opinions. Extra media. Sponsors, contributors, and other external forces that can have influenced in determining how the information gets organized. Ideological. Ideological analysis involves assumptions about power and how is it distributed in society. Gatekeeping in the mainstream media. It has been mentioned by several scholars that gatekeeping is the necessary evil. What if there is no gatekeeping involved at all? There have been many instances in the past which makes gatekeeping imperative. One such instance is of the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, when almost the complete city was under siege, and a few television news channels broadcasted the series of attacks live and went ahead with a complete coverage, which gave an edge to the terrorists and interfered with the army operations. Another instance was of Uttarakhand flood disaster. Here, the television channels broadcasted gory images of the bodies lying all over inside and outside the Kedarnath temple, which while competing with each other for exclusivity. Gatekeeping basically is the process of how information travels from the source to the receiver, and the idea of gatekeeping is not completely illogical, as the above mentioned instances highlight the need of gatekeeping in the news media. In case of print media, though news is coming from all the nook and corner, but as newspapers remain the most trusted source of information in India, there are times when there is not enough space in the newspaper to accommodate everything. Then there comes the newsworthiness. If the editor thinks something is more newsworthy, then other pieces get rejected and will not be able to make it to that day's edition. Factors responsible for gatekeeping. 1. Corporatization of media. The first thing which made it controversial was the corporatization of media. Earlier, there was a clear distinction between corporates and media houses, as the former used to provide advertisements and later was happy with the revenue which was trickling in through them. Journalism was considered more ethical in those days, but gradually corporates started to enter into partnerships with big media houses and further, media houses align themselves with the corporates and vice versa. After the direct intrusion of corporates into media industry, the gatekeeping emerged in a completely different way. Now, the content carried by the news media is more corporate friendly and less critical. Number 2, the concept of paid news. The emergence of this new concept gave journalism, news, and gatekeeping a new meaning. Paid news is a concept where someone pays for some news piece to be carried in a newspaper or television. Though it should be kept in the category of adverts, they are being put in the hardcore news slots to make them look like genuine news. So, if this kind of news is filling up the space, where would the hardcore or the newsworthy stories be put in? Therefore, many news stories fail to make into the editions just because a paid story has to be taken in the slot. Number 3, political biases. Political biasness has been another reason for making the concept of gatekeeping more controversial. There are two major causes of political bias. One is following a political ideology and the other is profiteering. If a media house owner has an inclination towards any political ideology, then the content shared by the channels or newspapers will be more in favor of a particular party. The other thing is profitability. The favors a political party does and then gets back in return in the form of a favorable news item. Another major thing which makes the bias evident is the politicians owning media houses or a television channel or a newspaper. If a newspaper is owned by a certain political party in India, it will never carry a story which is against his own political party. Newsworthiness. These days, newsworthiness does not depend on the news value or the gravity of the story anymore. It is the discretion of the media houses to decide on which news has to be given more weightage or coverage. Recently, there were two terror attacks that took place in India simultaneously. One was the Naxal attack in Sukma, Chhattisgarh, on the security forces and the infiltration bids in Kashmir by terror outfits. Both stories were of equal importance. Rather, the Chhattisgarh attacks saw a huge loss of lives, but the kind of extensive coverage Kashmir attacks got, the Chhattisgarh attacks did not. The news scenario has changed completely these days after tabloid journalism has gained prominence. Everything which has been given prominence is something which sells. If a news story is not able to pull revenue, it is not worth carrying. If there is an accident where some common layman has died, it will not get a big mention but a small one. But if a film star or any celebrity gets slightly hurt in a minor mishap, most of the television channels and newspapers would cover the celebrity thing prominently in spite of deaths in the other incident. Placement of news also these days depends upon sellability. The more a kind of story sells, the more it is being covered by the media. This commercialization of news has given rise to conscious and deliberate manipulation of information. Grains of gatekeeping in community media. There was reluctance for community radio in India a few years ago. These were considered illegal till the Supreme Court ordered to open up the airwaves because of the campaigns run by some free speech advocates. The court ruled that airwaves are public property and must be used for the public good. It is said that India lives in the villages. The population has many illiterate citizens, and for them, nothing could have been better than an initiative like community radio. Radio is considered to be the best medium to disseminate information to the rural and the not so literate ones. But is community radio serving the purpose? Many community radio experts claimed that the ownership is influenced by political, corporate, or government links. There are around 196 community radio stations in India, but how many are really catering to the community? CR, or community radio, was initially presented as the answer to the corporatization and politicization of commercial media. But is it really serving the purpose? There are many loopholes in the community radio ownership policy. A misconception prevails that as this is not for profit initiative, so people with affluent or political affluent background will not be interested. But this is apparent that many community radios are just for the namesake for the community, but they are serving a purpose of becoming a mouthpiece of the owners. For example, a community radio station named Himgiri Ki Awaaz in Dehradun, which belongs to the SL Group, which is owned by Subhash Chandra. Construction giant GMR Group owns GMR Radio in Andhra Pradesh, being run by GMR Institute of Technology. Another case which highlights the gatekeeping elements in community media is there are so many campus radios in a country, but very few students are allowed to run or operate the station. Instead, producers are hired from outside to accomplish the desired daily chores. Information and Broadcasting Ministry in a recent ruling has permitted community radio stations to air news, but only the news bulletins which are being broadcasted by the All India Radio. The community radio activists had been fighting for the right to be able to broadcast news for a long time. But this order again gags the voice of the community. Purpose of the community media is to disseminate the information to the public which is of some use to them specifically as a community. But with this kind of ruling, community media will only remain a government's mouthpiece. Neither mainstream media nor the government-approved community media organizations are voicing the actual situation of the community. So there has been many initiatives by individuals and NGOs which are successfully representing the real purpose of the community media. For instance, Red Light Dispatch, a monthly magazine by and for sex workers being run by the NGO named Apne Aap, which highlights the plights and horrors that a sex worker suffers in her life. The stories which never make it to the mainstream media or the government-approved and run community media are being voiced every month on a regular basis. Red Light Dispatch. Another example is of Slum Jagatu, Slum World, which is a magazine by and for the slum dwellers in a tech city of Bangalore. When the people living in the slums realized the mainstream media will not pay a heed to their issues or problems, they decided to do it on their own. Though the magazine has seen darker days due to financial crunch, but it still bears the torch as it voices the plights of the community living in the slums. Another non-government initiative is India Unheard. It saw the light of the day as a few responsible citizens felt that they wanted the world to know the things which didn't make up to the mainstream or government-run media. India Unheard is the country's first ever community news service. This initiative has 31 correspondents who have battled violence or discrimination on their own lives. Each one of them reports about the issue they have experienced themselves, which really goes unheard in the mainstream media. Gatekeeping and its impact on digital media. Popularization of social media. As social media has lesser regulations, the content is more explicit here. But many websites have their own gatekeeping mechanisms, like Twitter deletes any obscene or unacceptable content as soon as it gets highlighted. Same goes with YouTube, which does not allow such content which is explicit in nature. If we talk about Twitter, it is a microblogging website which enables people to publish shorter messages as compared to the other social media sites, where you can actually put vast amount of text. These short messages are called tweets. Earlier, tweets was to be used only through computer systems or laptops, but now the cell phone has taken it over, and most of the Twitterati now access it through cell phone only. Twitter, when introduced in India, became a rage instantly, as most of the celebrities became a part of the microblogging instantly, and almost every prominent person, be it a politician or a film actor, had his account or Twitter handle made. This actually gave an opportunity to the commoners to follow their favorite celebrity or any other person, and this gave Twitter a new high. But as far as the gatekeeping scenario is concerned, Twitter follows it religiously. Apart from the outrageous content being deleted, Twitter also cancels the subscriptions or deletes the account of users posting explicit content. A very recent example is of Abhijit Bhattacharjee, a renowned singer from Bollywood whose account was suspended. When he made another account, it was also suspended instantly, as Twitter felt and the contents he is publishing were not suitable for the social media platform. Facebook, the other social media giant which supposedly gives enormous free space to the user to put any content of their choice, but recently a New York-based tech site Gizmodo revealed that Facebook is not free from bias, and the gatekeeping element is very much evident as the social media giant manipulates the trending topics on a regular basis, keeping conservative agendas at bay. Facebook essentially controls the marketplace of ideas, and that's a very powerful thing to control when you are living in a democracy. Facebook's gatekeeping agendas put them into limelight again when recently they removed a post which contained an image of a naked girl which was clicked during the Vietnam War. This invited a lot of criticism for the social media giant. Apart from their own gatekeeping procedures, there are some others, like if someone shares a post and if a user does not find it appropriate to be on a public platform, he or she can report that particular post as inappropriate content by using certain options provided by Facebook on the website or the application itself. A recent report by Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism observed that almost everything on the social media platforms, be it either social media sites or the search engines, all of them had gatekeeping elements which affects the content of the news majorly which has been disseminated to the publics. User-generated content and gatekeeping. Domingo D. International Comparative Study on Participatory Journalism Practices in the Media and Beyond observed that in the era of social media, many researchers and studies have indicated that though many news organizations boast of providing the citizen journalist a lot of free space to share the content which makes headlines in the mainstream media, but it is also not free from gatekeeping. The content that we see is thoroughly reviewed and then shared on a public platform. Harrison J., a popular media writer, in a study in 2010 titled User-Generated Content and Gatekeeping at the BBC Hub, investigated how the content generated by the users in British broadcasting company BBC was also under scrutiny and had to go through rigorous gatekeeping. Even at an organization like BBC, the content was being examined and then released or being published, as the user-generated content can actually invite uproar or can create havoc. But despite of the risks involved, BBC has been using the user-generated content mainly for a few reasons. Firstly, because being a public corporation, they wanted to indulge into a public service for the public or the mass. And secondly, to grow bigger and better in the ICT world. In the recent study titled Gatekeeping and a Citizen Journalism, the use of social media during the recent uprisings in Iran, Egypt and Libya, carried out by Sadaf Ali and Shahira Fahmi in the year 2013, which involved certain case studies in those countries, and the control over media organizations was apparent. The government in the above-mentioned countries were having almost full control over the media outlets and also over the citizen journalism during the uprisings. Though social media seems, in comparison to the traditional media, more liberal, but reality is starkly different. The content by the citizens is being scrutinized, and then only suitable content or molded content is being published. Conclusion: the role of gatekeeping in the society or the community is inevitable. Hence, gatekeeping is a barrier to communication, as gatekeepers decide the nature of thoughts. Gatekeepers determine how someone or something should be portrayed negatively or positively. The more negative content about a person or entity will be shown or given prominence in media, the more the image of the person or the entity will get tarnished, and vice versa. Do attempt the questions in the self-evaluate quadrant. For further reading suggestions, please refer to the third quadrant. Thank you.